Hi, so I've had the Note 9 for just over 3 months. And yeah, I know 3 months isn't really considered a long term review, but it's enough to get a feel for how often they're going to do updates and what it's like to use this phone as a daily driver. There have been a few updates over the past 90 days, and I noticed that one of the updates considerably improved the signal strength of the Note 9, which is very interesting. Another update must have made the iris scanning more accurate, because I remember the iris scanning for me straight out of box was almost unusable. The lighting had to be perfect, like I'm talking about pretty much daylight, and the angles had to be just right to get the iris unlock to work, so much so that they used to show you like an image of your iris just so you could line it up. And then one day I just tried it. I pressed the little home button and it just unlocked. And I was thinking maybe it was a fluke. So I tried it again and it worked again. And I was like, hold up, did they do an update to fix the iris unlock or to make it more accurate? So I just kept trying it and it kept unlocking every single time. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Let me test this out. So I tried with sunglasses on, and it worked with sunglasses, which is something that had never worked before. Even on my Galaxy S8 Plus, it never worked with sunglasses. And then when I tried with the Note 9, it didn't work with sunglasses. So I figured the Iris Unlock just doesn't work with sunglasses up until now. So one of these updates definitely made the Iris Unlock more accurate, and now I use it all the time. I don't even think about it. There have been a couple of times that it doesn't immediately unlock. Maybe it's a little too dark or something, but thankfully the fingerprint scanner is still there and it is as reliable as ever. I have never had any issues with the fingerprint unlock, and I'm glad that it's still there. Now, the Note 9 is a big phone. And remember, I'm coming from the Galaxy S8 Plus, and it's not that much of a difference. I really notice how big it is when my wife tries to handle the phone. It looks kind of ridiculous how big that phone is in her hands. But for me, I've gotten used to it and I absolutely love it. It is my go-to phone when I'm thinking about watching any kind of media, any kind of YouTube, Netflix, or anything like that, any kind of video consumption. I know for a fact I'm going to use my Note 9. There's no doubt that Samsung makes the best screens, and the Note 9 is the pinnacle of what you can get on the market today. The one thing that I wish that they would work on is the front-facing speaker. I remember hearing the boom sound speaker from my HTC M8 and being blown away every time that I used it. It just sounded incredible. And it's been about 4 years now, and now that we're spending $1,000 on our phone, it's gotta be possible to get better sounding forward-facing speakers on a Samsung Note 9. This is their flagship phone. This is where they put everything, all the technology of the year that they have. One of the big improvements from the Note 8 to the Note 9 is that S Pen. And yeah, it has all the same features as before, but this year they've added the ability to control camera shutter speed and the ability to skip forward or backwards with a double click or a triple click when you're listening to music. By now, I would have thought that some developers would have made something cool with the S Pen, especially with the Bluetooth features, but I haven't seen anything that's piqued my interest yet. One of the things that I really love about the S Pen is the ability to make quick list and take a note right there on the spot, or doodle or jot down anything that I really want. I just kind of thought that I would use it a lot more than I do. Don't get me wrong, it's great to have it whenever I need it. I just thought that I would use it a little bit more. So I don't think it's a deciding factor for getting the Galaxy Note 9 over the Galaxy S9 Plus. Camera is really good. It's one of the best cameras of the year. If I'm taking pictures outdoors after sunset, or if lighting isn't optimal, guaranteed I'm using my Note 9. The difference from my iPhone 10 and the Note 9 is literally night and day. That variable aperture lens is a game changer when shooting in less than optimal lighting. Samsung fit a huge 4,000 milliamp battery inside this phone, and the battery life has been great. Since getting it out the box, I managed to get roughly about a day and a half to even 2 days of usage, and that hasn't changed much over the updates. I know some people noticed that they may have gotten a little bit better battery life due to some of the updates managing the battery and the power system a little bit better, but I haven't noticed that much change. I charge this phone roughly about a day and a half to 2 days, depending on how often I use it. That headphone jack is really important to me, especially here in the studio. Whenever somebody sends me a text message, or if I want to hear something through an email really quickly before everything is set up in the studio, I could just kind of play it off of my phone and plug in the aux cable in the headphone jack, and we got everything coming through the studio speakers, which is more than I can say for the iPhone. Again, this phone is very, very good at a lot of things, and they probably have the best screen right now. It's very, very good at everything, which makes this an overall good phone. Probably the best, most full-featured Android phone available right now, until they come out with their next phone. Since starting this long-term review, Samsung has given us an update. This is the One UI version of the current Android operating system, and my first impressions were mixed. Aesthetically, it looked better than before and it seemed to be smoother. But it took a little while to get used to some of the new features. One thing I can't figure out is whenever I'm done texting someone and I put the phone in my pocket, it just calls the person that I was texting. That's really weird, and I'm pretty sure it has something to do with how I lock the phone and slide it in my pocket. But it never used to happen before, and now it's almost every single time. I made a few changes to the navigation buttons by changing them to screen gestures, which makes it a lot more like the latest version of iOS. So it takes up less screen space, and it makes this phone a little easier to use with one hand. I like how you can slide the home button left or right to show the new previously used app carousel. It feels much quicker than before. My next favorite thing from this update is dark mode. I know it's supposed to improve battery life on phones with OLED displays, but I really just like the look of it, and it feels easier on the eyes. With the Galaxy Note 10 rumored to be unveiled in August, you may be thinking about waiting it out. And I'm sure you can find a great deal since the retailers are probably trying to make room for the new inventory of phones coming in. Honestly, I think it would be wise to wait until the announcement to find out if it's going to be worth it to pay what is expected to be $1,000 or more on the new phone, or get the deal on the Note 9. All in all, I think the Note 9 is a great phone, still best in class. Even though Samsung has already released the S10s and soon the Note 10, I think this phone can still hold its own. Thanks again for watching. Remember to subscribe, and links down below if you want to know what gear I used to make this video. Later.